welcome guys to another Scorpius GLZ presents a Broken Spirit Wargames intro session for charging and combat. Hopefully you guys are watching this on the Immortal Kickstarter, and hopefully it will help you to decide to join in and pledge. In this we're going to talk about charging and combat. So set in front of us is a unit of archers without any armour and a unit of armoured spearmen. Let's turn them around to face. There we go. Okay. The turn sequence is everything activates on one side. Once that's done, everything activates on the other, and then combat's done at the very end step for both parties. So let's just say that it's the archer's turn, and they've moved up to the position you see them at now. They're choosing to do the order of move and fire. So they will move and fire at the unit. As we've seen in the previous video about shooting, they require 4s or more to hit. I know that they're within 18 inches of the range of their bows, so 4s or more to hit the unit. With that, 2 hits are landed upon the unit of spearmen. On a 4 or more, I will wound. Yep, so 2 wounds are generated on that unit. And now they'll take a chance to save. Because they've got shields and light armour, their save is 5+. So 2 of these have died. So they're removed as casualties. If that was a 50% of the unit, I would need to take a morale check, but as it isn't, they're perfectly fine. So, all of the opponent's side is activated, and now it's my spearman's side's turn to activate. They look at their opponent and they're going to choose to charge. A charge is double the base movement. Now the base movement for an infantry model is 4 inches, so they get to charge 8 inches, which I've measured before I set this up to know that they're within range. So the captain unit charges into there. This guy charges into here. This guy will move up here, and this guy will move up here, like so. You can't have more than 3 models in base contact and attacking another base. So we're okay there because we've got a couple on action. I'd then carry on activating the rest of my units in my army, and then at the very end step we have combat. So in this case I have a combat going on here, which is this spearman and this archer. The archer generates 1 attack, the spearman generates 1 attack. Let's see if I've got a different coloured dice to help us. I think I've got a red dice somewhere. So the spearman's the red dice, there we go. And the black dice is the archer. The archer is considered to have a hand weapon, so they're going to have a bit of a brawl and see what happens. And how combat works in Immortal is quite simple. You take the number of attack dice and you roll them. And we look for the single highest dice roll. In this case, the bowman. So the bowman has bested the spearman in combat and has a chance to try and cause a wound. So you then roll the number of dice that you roll to hit with, to see if you can cause a wound. Same with shooting. A mortal unit is wounded on a 4+, so I need a 4 or more to wound him, which I roll off screen a 1, so he fails to wound him. That combat's resolved and we move on to the next part of the combat. In this case I have a captain who has 2 attacks. Against a bowman, black dice, I've 1 attack. So we roll the dice. The opponent would normally roll the black dice, I'd roll the red dice, and we're looking for the single highest dice roll. In this case, yet again, the bowman has bested the captain in combat, so I remove those, and he rolls the number of attack dice to see if he can wound, which he doesn't. Combat would continue through the unit, and then you'd look to see if any casualties have been removed. And if you have gone below the 50% threshold of the unit, and then test for morale and see if anything's fleeing. In this case it's a stalemate, so the combat will continue to the next turn. In the next turn we roll for initiative. Red dice is the bowman. Red dice is the spearman, black dice is the bowman. In this case we'll say that the spearmen are picked with their higher scouting level, so they will get to go first. So, because this unit is in combat, the only option that they've got for them is to use the envelop move to move these guys up to 4 inches to bring them into combat. Once I'd activated everything in my army, or my warband in this case. Play would then turn to the opponent, who would activate his. So these guys would envelop if need be. And then at the very end step, once everything's been activated, we do combat again. So we start from over here. Spearman on Bowman. Spearman is the red dice, Bowman is the black dice, single highest dice roll, which is the Bowman again. Bowman obviously using their knives to great effect in this. And they need a 4 or more to wound, which they don't do. So over here we have the captain with 2 attacks. And the Bowman, single highest dice roll, is a 5. In this case, when it's a draw, you see which unit charged this turn. As we remember, I charged last turn, so neither unit has charging. You then go off a thing called ferocity. Mortal units have exactly the same ferocity level, so it's a stalemate and nothing happens. We now move on to Hornblower and the Archer. Hornblower bests the Archer in combat and tries to wound him, which he does on a 4+. Because the Archer has no armour, he's removed his casualty. We now go on to the next combat. Spearman on Archer. Spearman's red, Archer's black. Spearman wins. See if the Spearman can skewer him. No, he doesn't. So with that, we then look at to see how combat's resolving in this case. In this case, no unit has gone below 50%, so there's no threshold there for morale. So combat would continue to another round. Hopefully that, guys, shows you how combat works in Immortal. It can be quite bloody and fast, however, good selection of armour and choosing your opponents wisely will greatly help to defeat your enemy. Also, ganging up, as I said, 3 models can be on 1 base, so ganging up can really help, because in the case of, let's say, this captain and this spearman were attacking that one spearman, I would get 3 attack dice for the spearman's side and 1 for the archer, and we're looking for the single highest dice roll. So in this case, it's the spearman's side, so they then roll their attack dice again to try and wound, causing 2 wounds. Because he has no armour, he'd be removed as a casualty. Hopefully that helps, guys. Hopefully it helps you to decide to jump on board and get some brutal combat action going on. And make sure, guys, that you gang up and you choose your opponents wisely. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.